Hey guys, it's going to be the long-awaited Monarch V2 clone review. I said long-awaited just because I've been kind of putting off making this video. But yeah, this is going to be a kind of short format, quick review. I'm going over looks, availability, price, flippability, and then an overall rating of should you buy it or not. Now, when it comes to availability, let's start off with that, right? It's easily a 10 out of 10. I mean, this thing is always available. Never seen something like this that isn't. I'm messing that up, but anyways, yeah, so availability, we're going to give it a 10 out of 10 because, I mean, come on, being able to always buy it, so much better than some other ballad songs, the real thing. When it comes to price, essentially it's like, what, $80 before tax and shipping, so with tax and shipping it's about 120 odd. You know, you can buy it from many different retailers. Looks wise, what's that? No, it's just a spec. This is probably my best looking knife. In all honesty, I mean, look at the ratios, man. Come on. You got this beautiful, over-exaggerated tanto here, right? And you've got these stunningly milled handles, and it looks good, you know, in the closed and in the open position. So honestly, there is nothing not to love about the looks of this knife, right? So looks-wise, you know, I'd rate it 10 out of 10. Personally, I really love the design. That's probably one of the main reasons I got this thing. Price-wise, you know, it's not too bad. I'd say it's quite reasonable for the flipping experience. A lot of people want to know, is this better than the Chab? Yes and no. No in robustness, right? You've got this pincer system, which obviously if you kind of abuse, it will not last as long as the Chab's Zen pin system, right? However, in flipping, which is the next topic, 100% yes, it is better than the Chab. You do get a much better flipping experience. You've got this lovely, okay, let's see if we can find it good. There we go. This lovely neutral balance with, I think, the teeniest bit of blade bias that I've found in the knife. Okay. Yeah, I found like the teeniest bit of blade bias in the actual knife itself. But overall, it's actually pretty solid in terms of the flipping experience. I absolutely love this thing. And then onto the sound, which I think for me personally is probably my biggest kind of deciding factor as to whether I want to keep this or not, right? It's got goods and it's got bads, right? We'll start with the bad. In fact, no, we'll start with the good, right? It does sound, you know, overall, pretty good. Not great. I mean, you know, for example, it's no match to... But it does sound pretty good. I do like how this sounds. However, the tactile feel of the sounds is quite odd. It's actually a very quiet ballad song, whereas the Prisma is a pretty standard, if not a slightly loud bally. Okay. Flipping on camera is like kind of awkward. You know? I don't know if you've ever tried to flip on camera before, but it's definitely an experience and a half. But yeah, so with the sound, I don't know if I'm super happy with it. I've heard that if you put better screws in, you can get a better sound, which is why I've got these absolutely gorgeous black screws in. And it does sound better with these screws, and it also does keep its tolerances better, because that's one of the issues I had with this. The pivot screws would just keep falling out, whether I Loctited them or Teflon taped them. I don't know if my Loctite was bad. Teflon tape just didn't work for me. It would just keep coming undone, at least on this safe handle. Bite handle was pretty fine. I'm going to loosen up a bit. These, I have some Teflon tape in here. It holds definitely much better. The tolerances. Oh yeah, tolerance-wise. Almost forgot about that. they're not fully tight right now. Very quickly, just tighten the screws in. Right, and so you get that kind of wiggle there, right? Nothing crazy. And you got that little ring. That's definitely sounds so much nicer when it's fully tightened. Although these screws are starting to strip. These are just off the Orca clone. They managed to fit in there. The females are still the stock females. But I'm thinking about getting some new kind of M2.5 by M3 by 2.5 mil or something. Or M2.5 by 5 mil, sorry. That's what the dimensions of the screws is. That's what I'm thinking about getting. Because I genuinely want to have a good flipping experience with this thing. But one thing I love is that it's actually quiet, which means that, like, late night flipping, this doesn't disturb anyone. Like, this is pretty, like, oh, that little ring. I wish that ring was louder. I can't lie to you. That ring is absolutely stunning. But, when you've got it fully tightened, you just fall in love with it again. But yeah, sound-wise, brilliant. Flipping-wise, I mean, it does pretty much everything you ask it to, right? That was very shoddily executed. 8-ball into helix, into a chaplain, into a half Monarch, into some sort of ice pick aerial, into that kind of test, and then obviously you got this little thing that I like to do. Okay, I'm doing this through the camera, so it's not super fluid. But, yeah, I mean, overall, I do really like how this thing flips. 10 out of 10 for, no, okay, maybe not 10 out of 10. I'd say a 9 out of 10 for flipping. It suits my preferences quite well. It's a bit bulky in the hand, but you do get used to it. I don't think it's, like, crazy or anything, especially with these nice chamfers. And the grip is just always there. It's the only time there isn't kind of grip is when you do something like that, in which case, I don't know, sometimes it just slips out your hand. But this acid wash, with this acid etch, sorry, with the stone wash, is absolutely gorgeous. It's across the whole knife. And yeah, honestly, would I recommend this thing? I would. Especially if you get good hardware in it. I think mine was just a bit of a dud, right? The stock hardware, it tightens up well. It just doesn't hold in place for me. I'm not saying don't buy this because of the hardware, because you can always just replace hardware. It's not super expensive. You can buy it on Amazon, on eBay, wherever, Screwfix. But yeah, just be wary. I think I might, just because of this being quiet and still having a pretty good, although occasionally when it's loose, kind of spongy, tactile, excuse me, feel. I think I will be getting rid of the chab. I think I will be selling the chab instead because I really enjoy how this thing flips more. Durability wise, I'm not too worried. You know, even the pinless system, which, oh, come on, is now kind of broken in. You know, I think it's going to last quite well. Although mine did have this one weird milling defect here on my bite handle. I don't know if you can. There you go. It's got these like ridges, which I'm not sure why they're there. I got a bit of a refund off it. But yeah, it was. But yeah, I'd say super predictable when it comes to like aerials and stuff. It does come stupid sharp. I mean, this blade, although it's got a weird kind of grind where it kind of does this shape, right? And then it does that to the tanto. That's the very exaggerated way of putting it. But yeah, you can see that kind of direction of the grind if it will focus. But yeah, no, honestly, love this thing. Would I recommend? 100%. If you want a Monarch in your collection, I've heard it flips very similar to the real thing. I can't obviously quote on that, or comment on that, I should say. But if the real thing does flip like this, if not better, then that's crazy, man, because I really like how this thing flips. Definitely one of my favorite flippers. I am picking this up quite a lot. even with its issues. Ooh. But yeah. So that's been my review, which has definitely gone on for longer than I expected it to. But yeah, peace.